Hey everyone, it's Mike. Before we start the episode, I have a quick question to ask. Do you own a brewery? Do your customers love trivia as much as I do? Well, then you better listen up, because Geeks Who Drink weekly trivia nights are the cornerstone of event programming for over 650 breweries and bars nationwide. Geeks Who Drink Trivia is consistently fun and low-effort way to build a community of regulars, because we all need our norms, cliffs, and all that, but we want to bring more people in as well. So you can even turn that slow weeknight into the busiest night of the week. So get started with this exclusive offer for my taproom listeners and get your first quiz night free. Go to geekswhodrink.com/taproom and enter promo code taproom. That's geekswhodrink.com/taproom, promo code taproom. And now onto the episode. All right, and we're back. This is episode 65. 65 of the Taproom Podcast, and I am your host, Mike. It is a early 7:42 on a Sunday morning, but it's all right. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. Got a good one for you, though, this week. To talk to Sean Ely from YouTube. He's on Instagram as well. He has, multiple channels. His YouTube channels are at Hey Sean Ely, at number 6 with cheese, and Eat Local. He's from Chicago. I'm batting 1,000 right now when it comes to talking to people from Chicago. Obviously I've had Romeo and Juliet on a couple times, and Sean was just a really fun episode. And we talked about how he started his channels and, what kind of got him into it. Also talked about, the Chicago craft beer scene and, beer festivals and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. And we just, just having just a fun conversation. We talked for like an hour and 45 minutes, I think it was. It was around that time. And it felt like we probably could have kept on going. Didn't even realize how much time had gone by. But yeah, honestly, just a really phenomenal human being, and just a down-to-earth, genuinely nice guy. So it was a fun conversation. So definitely go check out his channels, and I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Let's see, what do we got this week? Avs are down 2-1 to Dallas. It's no bueno. Dallas looks really, really good. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. But I know Game 4 is on Monday. It's kind of a must-win. Then we have also the Bruins are down 2-1 against the Panthers. The Canucks, I don't know what happened the other day. I think they were up 4-1 and then blew it 5-4. But I know that series is tied at 1-1. And then the Rangers and the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are hanging on for dear life right now. But that game is also, I believe, Game 5 is tomorrow for them. They're at 3. The Rangers are at 3-1. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm excited to see what happens. I hope my Avs can win on Monday. That'd be freaking fantastic. Just to at least tie the series, and then they'll have one more game in Denver. So we'll see. Also, big happy birthday to my dad. Just so happens his birthday fell on Mother's Day this year. So happy birthday to my pops. I'm actually going to go over to his house right now. Well, not right now, in a little bit, and go make him some breakfast. But yeah, I also brought back the first person I always call it the first person series. So it's like you see everything in first person. When it comes to the beer pours and stuff like that. Let's see what else I got. I think that's about it. Oh, I recorded at Beer to Tang on Friday with Jared Larson, their head brewer. Just a really good dude and makes really killer beers. I had some Czech lagers. I had their German Pilsner, one of their West Coast. Really, really solid. So that one will actually be out next week. And then on Tuesday, I'm recording with Dre. She's a cellarman and a home brewer, stuff like that. She's really nice. And then I'm going to be talking to Comics and Brew on Wednesday. And then the following Sunday, I'll be at Audiograph recording with them. So we've got a lot going on this week. What else? I think that's about it as far as I know. Well, yeah, I forgot about the Instagram. Oh, the Geeks Who Drink question of the week was, what is America's oldest brewery? The answers were Anheuser-Busch, Minhas, Pabst, and Yuengling. A lot of people said Pabst and Anheuser-Busch. A lot more than I thought. About 110 people said Anheuser-Busch. 120 people said Pabst, and 240 said Yingling. So that was the correct answer. Only one person said Minas. So, there you go. That was the question of the week. What else do I got? Also, obviously the ad read was in the beginning. But yeah, if you own a bar or, want to start a trivia night or something like that, you can go ahead to geekswhodrink.com/taproom, use promo code taproom. You know what? I actually put this on my link tree like maybe a month ago. Because Chew had always told me, he's like, oh, dude, you should add the buy Mike a beer thing or something like that. So I did do that. I did add it to my link tree. If you wanted to buy Mike a beer, you could. It just has my Venmo link to it. Don't feel obligated. That's not why I did it. I just, I was like, I'll throw it out there. So if anyone ever wants to buy Mike a beer, it is there. All right. So I'm going to shut up now and we'll get into the interview, but stay tuned for the outro. All right, guys, we're back in the tap room, and I'm your host, Mike, and I have a very special guest on today, Sean Ely of Chicago, YouTube sensation, and one of my favorite channels to watch. You have 3 different channels with Number 6 with Cheese, Eat Local, and it's Hey Sean Ely, correct?
It is, yeah. That's the fact you know them all makes me feel good. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, I found the first one, and I just then all of a sudden, that algorithm, it pops into your other stuff, and then I was like, what is this? And what is this? I'm always, looking at
what was the initial video that you saw? Do you remember what the first one was? I always love asking people because it's like YouTube's like a vixen like that. They'll like you were saying, they really pull you in once you watch one, but I'm always curious.
This one, it might have been the Steakums video.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No. I think it was the ghost pepper, the Carolina Reaper cheese, the quesadilla.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's one that got me. And then I went down the rabbit hole.
That's what I love. It's like very much like making food content online is very much like, I love it because I started doing it because I would binge other channels like so many years ago. And it was something that, cause I would watch Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives and I would watch Man vs. Food. And I wanted to watch like 20 episodes of those shows in a row and they would run reruns. So you pretty much could, you could be like hungover on a Sunday, wake up and pretty much knock off like 6 hours of that show and not even know where time went. So now like food content on YouTube has kind of replaced that for me, and once I started doing it, I was like, that's what I love to watch. So
that's awesome. That describes like my early 20s. Like it was watching.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's a huge inspiration for me for just being a host in general, but loving the food stuff and watching like Adam Richman do his thing. I was like, I want to do that,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to hear like all about how you started the channel and everything like that. But before we do that, should we crack a beer open? Because I know you have a couple beers because you're also a big craft beer guy as well. So.
I am. I'm a big craft beer. Yeah. I would love to crack a beer with you. What are you drinking?
So the first one I'm going to do is it's called The War on Sobriety by Frogtown Brewing. Actually, their episode just came out this past Sunday. So there was a really great brewery. It's kind of by Dodger Stadium. Oh. Yeah, it says it's a double IPA, but it's 10.1. So that's a triple for me.
Anything that's double digits.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it should be pretty good. What are you drinking?
Okay. So you'll probably appreciate this. So the Michigan boy in me, because I'm from Detroit, I love Bell's Two Hearted. So I cracked this as my pregame before because I got off of work and I was like, I need a couple sips of a beer. This was kind of the beer that really got me into craft beer, like the one I was buying all the time. But the one I'm going to crack with you right now, my buddy Billy, who is actually won a gold medal at Festival of Barrel Age Brewing. He's awesome. He gave me this Spotted Cow Grand Cru. So everybody knows Spotted Cow from New Glarus in Wisconsin, which you can only get it there. But he was like, yeah, you got to try this like 9% Spotted Cow Grand Cru. So this will be the first time I've ever had this. So I'm very excited.
Awesome. So let's crack them open.
Let's crack them open.
That's the best sound.
Not a better sound. It's just so good.
It is. It's great. And that was one of the reasons too.
Oh yeah, you get a little foam. For those not seeing that, Mikey got a little foam bring back on that.
Yeah, a little foam in my mouth there.
Happened.
One of the reasons why I actually really love the channel, one of the reasons I wanted to reach out to you as well, or all your channels, because it's like when you guys, because whether it's just you or when you have your guys date night or with your buddy, is it Cooper?
Corey.
I was like, I got brain fart there.
There's a lot of characters in my life online. I get it.
Yeah. And but like you'll crack open a beer quite a bit and it's always craft beer. So it's like, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I went through, we'll get into it, but you know how it is. It's like you want to try them all. It's like the Pokemon of drinking. Like it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, here, cheers. It's so great to
Cheers,
finally
man.
do this. I love your
Yeah.
glassware, by the way. Cheers.
Oh,
Enjoy.
thanks. Yeah. This was, it might have been, I once, maybe taken from a Red Lobster, but it's a Sam Adams glass.
Just barely
Yeah.
escaped yeah, you absolutely took that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I took recently, I was at a dive bar in Chicago and I was with a couple friends and they had one of those like tea light candles on the table, but it was the battery powered one. And
Oh, okay.
we were going to the next place and I had a few drinks and I was like, I'm going to put this in my coat. I'm going to bring this to the next bar. And then halfway through the conversation, pull this tea light candle out and put, so I'm not a big klepto. Is that what it is? People that steal.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I was like, this would be funny later. I don't know.
Oh yeah. And it was, hey, it led to a good story. Like this
It
glass,
did,
I've had for probably 10 years.
I mean, that's
So-
a great glass too. And I feel like glassware, like bartenders and breweries and like restaurants know, like, you make something a little too cool, clientele might nab
Yeah.
it. That's just, I think that's kind of built into the culture.
Yeah. Technically that's their fault. So
I was bartending like 7-8 years ago and we got those like, it was when those Kronbacher like glasses were really popular, those like long, tall, skinny ones, but
yeah.
they're really kind of their own beast. Those would just quote unquote go missing every time I poured one of those. Like they never made it back to the bar. But also like, what are you going to do all of a sudden be that guy that's like stop like patting people down at the door? Like,
Yeah.
Did you take it? Do you have a Kronbacher glass in your coat?
Yeah. You have 100 people in the ar and all of a sudden they're all gone.
I know. I was like, we had no door guy. I was like, whatever, just take it.
Oh man. So, I mean, I've been wanting to ask this, obviously, and I mentioned that I was going to already, but like how it all started for you, man, because like you just, what you're doing, you're like, I mean, I think I'm busy, but, but all the stuff you got going on, I was like, man.
Busy. Yeah. I think I'm in a really good groove right now. Like I've wanted to, and I'll get into, so people who have no idea who I am, which rightfully so, why I'm even talking about like being in a good groove. But so I've lived in Chicago just over 10 years and I came here. I've had a weird journey. Like I graduated from Michigan State with a journalism degree and I loved like daily newspapers and daily stories and getting stuff out, clean slate the next day. Nothing kind of ever rolled over to the next day. I kind of grew up idolizing like Mitch Albom, the sports writer in Detroit News, and like going to a game and writing about it. And the next game, it didn't matter anymore. It's like sports, So I grew up loving that mentality. And I loved working in newspapers in college. And after college, I bounced down to Oklahoma. And then I was like back in Lansing. And then I started kind of falling in love with like being on camera because like multimedia was getting really big in journalism.
Okay.
And they were like, if you can pair a video story with another story, it'll be on our website. And that was like a really big deal to have your story like on the front page of like statenews.com or, newsok.com and things like that. So I fell in love with that. And then I was like using cameras. So it was kind of like my Sherpa into the world was like journalism. And then I did improv in college and I loved performing. And so really where I'm at now was like a culmination of all of that. So like I got a marketing job. I left journalism and I got a marketing job to kind of learn social media and like search engine optimization and writing emails and kind of like that side of, I don't know, brands and companies and stuff. And I fell in love with that. And so long story short, I had like a job in Jacksonville, Florida, where I was making videos every single day for a company called iwearyourshirt.com, where I had to do a video resume to apply to get one of these 4 positions where I would be paid $30,000 a year to every day make a YouTube video basically for a new brand. So brands would sign up with this company and me, the shirt wearer, would wear the shirt, promote the company. And so it was that clean slate mentality. It was like I would do it on a Monday, different thing on a Tuesday. I was like, look at this. It's full circle. It's journalism again. And then when I moved to Chicago, I was doing Second City and comedy where like, Chris Farley and Tina Fey and the greats all did it. And I had been doing YouTube kind of just for companies, but then I was like, well, I want to have my own YouTube channel. So I was doing kind of like Daniel Tosh, kind of like more commentary, kind of comedy, me stand-up videos kind of thing, like what he did on Tosh.0. And then food reviews were getting really big. So this was like 2015. And this was when like Dame Drops first was kind of around and like Joey's World Tour and like the Hodge twins. I'm trying to think of the people that were kind of like the weird people. Like I consider myself a weird YouTuber. They were kind of at the culmination of doing it. and I met my buddy Corey at Second City. And I said, well, what if we do like one of these comedy food review? Well, they weren't comedy. I was like, what if we do a food review where we go eat like Burger King, but like we make it funny? Like, let's just be our dumb selves and just like not try to like do an act. Let's just be silly. And we just did one of them and it did really well, like view wise. Like people in our like Second City classes were texting us about it. And like family was like, there's something here. Like, I don't know what it is,
That's
but
awesome.
there's something here. Yeah. So it just kind of snowballed into doing that and then doing local, Chicago stuff. And then I started doing kind of like nostalgic foods that I grew up eating or, recipes from my family or things were like weird, like had weird cult followings. And then I started taking donations from people who like during the pandemic, I was doing it where I was like, send me a recipe you love or something weird that you don't want to eat that you want me to eat. And like every day I'll do a different episode. So it was like back to that daily mentality again.
Yeah.
So I know it's a long winded way of saying it, but catching everybody up, that's kind of like where I'm at right now of like doing it across 3 channels and fell in love with the food side of like comedy and fell in love with like cooking truly. Cause I like my parents were very much like we ate the same 10 meals like growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't go out to eat very often. So I like really cherished that. And so now I'm just trying to like, now I'm good with a camera, I feel like, so I can just kind of like show all of that and just be a goofball and be relatable. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's kind of the way too long of a pitch of what I do.
No, man, that's awesome. Because I mean, at least for me, and I know like when I hear feedback from listeners, they love hearing that. They love hearing like that kind of, like people with, with your type mentality, because I feel like nowadays it's not, I mean, you don't see it all the time. So, and you've been grinding for a while.
And to like make enough money, cause I do marketing like day to day too. Like, and I was freelancing and doing my own thing forever, but I've had a really cool like marketing job the last 6 months of a company I've worked with forever. So now it gives, when I talked about being in a good rhythm now is like, I can do that. It's fully remote. I'm home, but then I can like all the YouTube stuff now, there's like kind of a reborn passion for it again, because now it's like the fun thing I'm doing and it doesn't have to try to like pay every bill, Now it's like, it gets stressful when like your passion becomes like, oh, I got to make rent,
Yeah.
So I'm in a good spot now. It's like, it's balancing a lot of things, but I'm comfortable and I feel kind of like able to relax and enjoy the editing again and not editing just because I need to edit,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like even then, like sometimes we all have our days where we're like, oh man, I gotta do this. But
yeah.
But then I feel like too, there's times when I do like, I have an interview and I'm like, oh man, like I'm hungover. And I'm like, all right, but I got it. But I got to do it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though. As soon as I hit record, it's like I go in almost like game mode, I guess. And
100%.
And then I'm like, once I'm done, I'm like, I'm so glad I did that. Like, I'm so glad that I was able to, I mean, even though I was tired, even though I was hungover or anything like that, I'm just glad that like, I feel like almost like when you go to the gym and you're like, oh, I mean, I don't go to the gym, so I probably shouldn't use that analogy.
But when you get there, you're there. It's like, getting there 100%. Yeah. You have that, like that switch, Mikey, that it's like, I got to like, as soon as I hit record, I'm good. Like it happened with Corey. We film like 4 episodes at a time when we go and do it. So we're not doing it every day, So like, if I have a long work day or I'm just like not feeling, I'm like having a bad mental health day or I just like don't feel funny or creative. And I'm just like, what am I doing? As soon as I like get in the car and we start vibing and like the food's good, it's like this, you turn it on. It's a performer mentality. And like some people have it or they don't, I think. And when you love like performing, and that's what like podcast hosting is too, is like, it's a performance. I mean, you got to like, you're prepared and you're talking and you want people to love it. And like, you just got to be able to turn it on. And like, it's just a skill some people have. And I'm lucky enough to feel like that's one thing I was kind of born with was this like silly, goofy performer mentality, whether there's a camera on or not, much to my wife's dismay, I'm sure, but making it work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but even in the date night videos, I feel like that's such a cool kind of concept because like you guys get to do something together where it's like, even I feel like in the craft beer community, if you have like a significant other that isn't into craft beer, that could make it tough. But I mean, got to be into eating. So
Yeah, absolutely. I know. So Allie's like always kind of been on my channel, like she's such a good cook and baker. And during the pandemic, we did a lot of like cooking videos together. And I think it was relatable to see like a very like normal American couple, like slumming it and just like, getting wine delivered from like a wine delivery service and then making like, homemade marshmallows and just, ridiculous. I think about the videos we've done, but the date night series has been fun because we're very much like, as we get older too, like we like just ordering in and trying a bunch of different foods and just hanging out and like watching TV and movies and just like goofing around. So I was like, well, what if we basically just like showcased that in a video format but it's super highly produced where it's like, I'm still using too many cameras and it's, it's not like we're just setting our phone up. It's like, I take it really seriously. But she's got such a great dry sense of humor that in my mind, if I look at it from like a production standpoint, like our demeanors are so different, like where I'm like just a weirdo and she just has this hilarious dry, and people will comment all the time. Like, she just doesn't give in to you being you, like in a funny way, it's been received really well. So it's been fun. And the fact that she's cool being on camera, cause she's a like fitness teacher and like, performs in front of people all the time. So like she's used to it, but YouTube's a different world, so the fact that she's been cool doing it has been great for me. So.
Awesome. And that's cool. I mean, like the ones, was like, man, if I were to go, I want to go to that Italian place that you guys like to go to where you guys got the cacio e pepe pizza.
Yeah, it was the cacio e pepe ricotta pillows. Those like
there you go.
Yeah, that place. We went to like that was the spot Alla Vita that we went to like the grand opening. We had a friend that invited us because she was for the media and invited, and we tagged along, and it was awesome. So that place has been like pretty special to us over the last like year or two.
Yeah, it looks so good. I was like, man, like, and because then it was like you got 4 different slices, like one of like all the different ones. They all looked amazing. We
always over order. We're like the most chronic over orderers of all time. But like we never just get entrees and like have our own thing. I don't know if you're like that, but like I'm a big sharer. Like I want the whole table to try everything and talk about it, which is probably why I love like the food content stuff. Like I just want everyone's take on everything. So that was like one big reason why Allie and I kind of fell in love was like, honestly, like craft beer, our love of craft beer was a huge part of it when we first met, and the like sharing food and like experiences, like that was a huge thing for us. Like in our relationship of 10 years, I can't tell you, on one hand, I can probably count the amount of times that we each just got our own food and ate it and then like paid the bill and left.
Yeah.
It's very family style Italian, like kind of mentality. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I am with craft beer. Like if I always try to get like 3 or 4 of each one, like, cause I want my brother to try it. I want my uncle to try it. I want everybody
so fun. To. Yeah. It makes the like experience better to me. Like Allie's like almost to a fault. Like we travel a bunch and we'll go to breweries, like, which I'm sure you do when you travel. Like it's kind of this awesome through line of traveling the country is like if you find a good brewery city, you can that can be a whole day. It's just like bouncing around. She'll get flights everywhere she goes where I'm like, I'm just in the mood for a West Coast IPA. I want a pint of it. And I just want to like sit there and relax. And she's getting like, pickle, papaya, gozas, and like, she'll just the whole gambit. And I'm like, it's kind of great. Like she wants to try a little bit of everything. So I get to try all of that stuff, because of her, but
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I apologize if you hear my dog snoring in the background. It'll all be edited in post. So
I love that though.
Yeah. I just got her.
My dog could very much be doing it too. So.
No, yeah. No, I don't hear it, but yeah, I don't hear your dog, but yeah, I just got her on Saturday. So
wow, that's like, big.
She's brand new. So.
Oh my gosh. Congrats. That's a big deal.
Yeah. I took her to, she's a rescue. I took her to her first brewery on Sunday. She did not like being in the car.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's going to be something that comes with, weeks and weeks of doing it.
Yeah. So I'm totally dog dad, but I might edit this out, but I'm dog dadding it now. I got her a car seat. We got her a bunch of other stuff.
Adorable. That's adorable.
Yeah. Well, man, Nick, so you mentioned how you and Corey will do like 4 different videos, in one day. And I would do that sometimes with shows. Like I would go record on one on a Saturday morning, one on a Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. When the food stuff happens, like how was that? Like, like how do you guys able to finish? Because sometimes you look like you guys finish everything. And I'm like,
yeah, it's definitely something. Because when we first started, we were doing one, like, we would do one. Corey would pick me up and we'd go film one, and that would be our shoot for the day. And then it was like anything you do in like production, you're like, oh wow, we could do like 2 today, and then we wouldn't have to film on Thursday, and we could just do them now. And and now it got to a point where we had been filming. We've been doing 5 videos a week for years, Monday to Friday. It would come out every 9 a.m. every day. And it was on one channel. It was just on Number 6 with Cheese. And like Mondays would be like hot wings and craft beer. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be fast food. And Friday would be a craft beer and then like a frozen food item. And, like as you try different things out, it was just like some things worked, some things didn't. We kind of wanted to get away from always filming at the apartment because that would eat up a bunch of time. So yeah, we're just at a point now where we have the channel Eat Local that is 2 episodes a week that is, local Chicago restaurants or wherever we travel to, but we live here. And then 2 Number 6 with Cheese videos, which are fast food. So, and we've kind of implemented the donation thing into these shows too. So like, let's say you have a favorite fast food item or like a hack you've always done where you've added, the jalapeno sauce at Taco Bell to like the cheesy gordita crunch or something or whatever, or you just want to see us. Somebody like last week was just like, hey, I've never had the Shake Shack chicken sandwich and I've heard the Jollibee one is good too. Can you compare them against each other? And we had 2 people donate for that and we did the video. Awesome. So like, I love those videos, but then we do like really new stuff too. Like, Domino's came out with New York style pizza. So we did that. And so it's just things people are talking about. And it's like this little fun cult following show that people just attach to. And it's kind of, I always like to like talk about it in the sense that it's kind of like what morning radio was for people. Like when I would go to school every day, my mom would put on 93.1 DRQ on our 10-minute drive to school. And I'd listen to the same DJs and the same guys talk. And like, that was my morning routine. Like a lot of people wake up now and they watch our show for 10 minutes. And then that's kind of their little like morning thing. So I think that's kind of neat. I dig it,
Yeah, man, that's cool when you're putting out something that, that people love. And I know I love it. And obviously clearly with all the subscribers and all the stuff like that, like people love it. And man, like you said, it's that little bit of, forgetting about everything for a little bit, for a few minutes and just being able to enjoy it. And I saw the video when you did it was like almost was like a Stromboli kind of pizza, but like, when you were in Detroit and you went to go visit your brother.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned he's a wrestler. We'll get into wrestling later on, but
absolutely.
Just like the Detroit videos were cool. I mean, that bodega sandwich that you had looked phenomenal. Sorry if I'm nerding out about your videos.
No, I love it. To Mike's point, like I was home in Detroit for like 30 hours. Like I had a buddy's father pass away, which a bummer, but also, my buddy is like the strongest dude I know. Like nothing rattles him. He was just great. But anyways, like I went home, to Metro Detroit. And the cool thing about like my job, quote unquote, or my like side gig is like, wherever I go, I can film something. So like if I need to eat, I can turn it into like a fun, like content where I can bond with people, or maybe there's a restaurant I've always wanted to try that I'm going to be driving by. So I'm going to stop and get it. Like that's what's really cool about this to me. Like I've put in the 8 years of hard work of like building an audience that cares about anything I'm doing, which is so hard to do. And then to now have this cool little group of people that if I go somewhere and I film it, they connect with it. And I have so many personalities on YouTube that I follow where I'm like, they could do anything and I just want to watch them do it. I think they're cool people, So yeah, like to your point, I did a bodega, like a fried bologna sandwich in downtown Detroit from this place called Iggy's Eggies that I've wanted to go to forever. And it's like this little window in Detroit. I mean, I talked about it in the video. It blows my mind to see what Detroit is becoming or has become. Like the fact that they have little coffee windows and breakfast window. I mean, that's not a thing when I was growing up. I mean, it's just my dad scared us into like, you don't walk around there, all those things, and it's just this awesome city and I'm so proud of it and so proud to be from there. So I did that and like flew the drone during the day and like, just had myself a little Monday. And then the next day, no, it was later that day, I filmed Tanya's Pizza in Royal Oak, which is, you were saying, it's like it's a pizza, but the top of the pizza also looks like the bottom of the pizza. It's quote unquote stuffed. So it just looks like brown triangles, but it was so good. And I did their like award winning one, and that both restaurants reached out to me. That's the other reason I love it. They both reached out to me and were like, that's so cool that you did this and like came here. And I don't know. I just think it's neat to like have those conversations and tell businesses they're doing a great job. And I don't know. I just love it. There's no agenda to it. It's just all positive,
Oh, Yeah, same for me. And that's why I love doing this, because I can talk to people. And even like, when it comes to the brewer side, like when it comes to brewers or owners and being able to, maybe they wouldn't have had their story. Well, nobody would have ever heard their story. And
Yeah.
to me, that's everything, man, because I can, if I can do anything to help a small business or anything like that, to me, that's all that matters.
You're so good at it too, because like one, most people don't give brewers like a long form like piece of content to be able to tell their story and to have these conversations. Like, like a newspaper will come in and do a little thing of like, oh, they came out with this beer won an award and cool, good for them. Like, I think what you're doing is so neat, because I nerd out about like brewer stories and like fun angles of it and how they got started and like how they were brewing in their like, their kitchen, this tiny apartment, and their wife or girlfriend was so mad at them. They were doing it and everything smelled like hops. And I don't know, like I love to hear like when you're in the trenches taking grenades and like what it's become. And like a lot of the brewers you talk to now, they have these like big successful tap rooms, and I think it's so cool. It's like what America's all about. Like those stories are just awesome, so like cheers to you for giving them a platform to like show that stuff, because I wish there was more of it, like Instagram can only go so far for these brewers.
For sure, man. Yeah. And that's it. No, I appreciate you saying that. It's just, I mean, for me, I kind of get like lost for words sometimes when I talk about it, because it means like hearing someone's success story and them accomplishing their dream means so much to me.
Yeah.
So like being able to hear that, I get like, I try not to get emotional on the show or anything like that, but it does strike a chord for me. Like, so it's like,
cause this wasn't like, that wasn't a thing. You hosting a podcast, like them making beer and doing 6 beers, me like recording myself eating. These were not jobs like 20 years. You know what I mean? Like these were not things that you could do. Like sure, a few people could like maybe pull that off, but like we're in a world now where like if you really want to make something happen like that, like you can for a little bit of money, at least try it and do it. So when someone like gains an audience and like has people backing them, it's so tough to do. So like I applaud people that find a way to sustain it. It's so hard.
Oh no, it definitely is. And it's kind of crazy how, well, going back to you, because I wanted to talk about, how we kind of, I mean, obviously I started watching the videos. I saw that you like craft beer, and I know we touched on that, but I was like, no, man, I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe we can talk, maybe
Absolutely.
we can have a conversation. And that's when I reached out to you on Instagram, and I was like, maybe I hear back. Maybe I don't. I know you're probably, busy with it because you were putting out so many videos all the time. And it was like, 10 minutes later?
That's
like, that's all I am too.
So honored that you asked. I mean, this kind of thing is so cool for me. Like, I feel very honored to be able to talk about what I'm doing for anyone to care, but also like to talk about craft beer, which means a lot to me. And a lot of my like adulthood, like a lot of my favorite and best moments are at breweries and the relationships I've made from craft beer. And so, yeah, like this to me is the coolest. Like, I love that we can do this, and there's just not a bad thing about it. It's just, it's all so good. It's just good. It's a feel good thing.
Oh, definitely. And it turns out we had a mutual friend.
Small
Kate
world.
Bernat.
We sure, Kate Bernat.
That's pretty crazy.
I remember when you had first messaged me, I remember being like, Kate had done this, right? Like, and then right away pulled up that episode and re-listened to it, because I listened to it. I think she shared it on LinkedIn, or I saw it somewhere really random. But anyways, yeah, Kate, when I was working at Red Eye, which is like the millennial version of the Chicago Tribune 10 years ago, it was like, the Chicago Tribune is for old people, and this Red Eye brand was going to be for the young hip kids that like are going to put out all the entertainment stuff. And that's actually how I met my wife. We both worked there. I had never met her before that and whatever, but Kate, I got to work with her. So she was doing like, eat and drink and beer, and like kind of, was in the like kind of culinary scene and the drink scene, and mainly the drink scene. And I would film her like going to bars and breweries and doing little like interviews and stuff. And this was like 2013. And I've been friends with her that long, but like, she lives in Montana now. My wife and I got married in Montana, and like we were hitting Kate up for all the like the things to do in between stuff. And I got to spend a few, nights with her, like since she's kind of been back in Chicago with her and her husband. And like, just we've been to mutual friends' weddings and stuff, and she's the greatest. I mean, she's just so knowledgeable in beer. She's the sweetest human being. She's kind of a badass though. Like she still will smack you in the mouth. She's got that like sassy journalism side, but like in the most respectful way. I love her. I think she's just one of those people that I've watched her bounce around to like these different jobs too. Like she was at the Takeout, I want to say, and she was doing like beer stuff and like kind of in Chicago after that. And then now she's just killing it. And it's funny because I brought up LinkedIn. I honestly see her stuff the most there because she like talks to a lot of like people in the business world of beer. And that's where I really nerd out about it. I'm like, I love that she's still doing the reporting angle so much in her head, and which is like a big part of her role too. But she's not just like knowledgeable on beer. She gets the whole like economic side of it. And I don't know. She's great. So I was so glad to hear you had such a good conversation with her.
Oh yeah. And like you said, she was a sweetheart. I was calling her, like my friends were like, oh, what was she like? And because a lot of my buddies, even the love craft beer, they've never heard of like the North American Guild of Beer Writers or anything like that.
Yeah.
So when I was telling them about her and they're like, oh, was she nice or whatever? I was like, she's like a beer, like a craft beer drinking Lois Lane.
She really is.
How I described her.
She's such a unique human being in like the coolest way. Like I don't know anyone else like her. And I'm just so like happy for her success because she's such a great writer too. So anything she writes, I'm always like, this is just so good.
Yeah. I think she had an article recently about like what the next trend could be, like in craft beer. And it was like craft cocktails, or like craft with the, seltzers and stuff like that. So I was like, if she's saying it, I'm like, it's probably going to happen.
I know. I trust her word. I really do.
Oh, for sure. So you used to mention like that one beer that you had, the one that kind of got you into craft beer and that one was from
Bell's Brewery, Two Hearted.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. So when that marketing job I talked about, when I went and got that like low level marketing job when I was like 23 and I left journalism, I had a buddy, not a buddy at the time. He was like my creative director, but he was really into craft beer. And I graduated college and I drank Busch Light and I drank Natty Light and I drank Keystone and whatever was the cheapest possible 30 rack you could get. That's whatever we bought. Doubt. Right. And so I don't know, like what were the craft beers at the time? Like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale and Stone, Sam Adams, like it just all like all of us, like it all tasted. I was like, this is just, why would you want beer to taste like hand soap or what? I don't know, whatever I thought. So I got this marketing job and this dude, I thought was the coolest dude in the world. I was like, he's this like dad of like 3, but he was like, had a mohawk and drove a Jeep Wrangler. And like, it was like, he would go off-roading on the weekends, but then he was like, I don't know. He thought he was the coolest guy. And he would bring these craft beers to work all the time. And probably out of like me wanting him to think I'm cool, I started like drinking them, but then I started like really liking it. And then there was like a little bit of a crew of us after work that would like go to these little Mount Clemens, Michigan craft beer bars. Okay. And I would drink like, Final Absolution. Do you know that beer?
I don't think I've heard of that one. No.
It was like the first beer I ever drank that was like really like a darker beer, a Belgian triple. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so speaking of triple, wow. So I remember having that and being like, oh, this is like the vodka of craft beers. But anyways, I started like liking those. So, but anyways, the beer that I kind of would pick up like 6 packs of in bottles at the time, because canning wasn't really a thing yet, was this Bell's Two Hearted. And it's like kind of Michigan's like workhorse. This and All Day IPA from Founders are kind of like the 2 workhorse beers. And so this to me is like water. Like I love it. It's definitely dank, but I could drink one every day, and it just to me is like I'll crave one at like 9 a.m. Like not like an alcoholic, but like I'm like, you know, be nice, like some eggs and a Two Hearted IPA. I don't do it, but I think about it. It's just so it's a great beer. So that's like kind of my Michigan uproots of like loving that beer so much. And do you have a beer like that for you? That's like the one that's the tried and true, like you could drink it every day.
Oh man, there's so many.
Because All Day IPA is probably the one that I like. I've bought the the 15 pack. I'm like, that's the one I probably bought the most. Like I really do shop like to get new stuff, but like if I ever need one that's kind of just like in this beer fridge over here, there'll always be like Two Hearted or All Day IPA. And I always like to ask people if they have a beer that's like, what would be the one you'd stock your fridge with if you had to?
Man, I'm trying to think of all the different ones.
Just Usually the Elder.
Yeah, I mean, Plenty was big for a long
sure
time,
was.
but I feel like Plenty still is huge, but like there's so many great craft beers out there, or craft breweries out there that are putting out just bangers out, like banger after banger. I feel like, man,
I know, I put you on the spot. You know what's funny
No.
too is a lot of these companies are
Yeah.
doing like the big variety packs now, like Founders All Day IPA. They have like it used to just be, you know, the IPA. Now it's like the West Coast IPA. They have a grapefruit IPA. They have the hazy. And it's just all of a sudden, it's just, they made one beer into 8 beers for money, which I get, you know, do your thing.
Oh, you know what? I can think of one. Like one that I know for a fact I could drink every day, and it's a New Zealand style Pilsner.
Ooh.
So it has like Rawaka, Motueka, all that good stuff. And it was by Ism in Long Beach.
Okay.
The great Ian McCall, I got to interview him back in November. And it's a New Zealand Pilsner. And we tried it, and I was like, I looked at it, I was like, come on, bro. Like, what he's like, do you want all my money or what are we doing here?
Just take it all.
Pretty much.
You being on the West Coast too is cool for me because like I know Midwest beers so well that like there's this whole other world in California. Like I feel like the Bay Area I probably am most familiar with like beer wise, but like Southern California and even just the Southwest part of the country, like I don't know as much of the like the go-to tried and true beers. So it's kind of wild that we're like both beer dudes, but there really is these pockets, you know, of like what people drink here every day as opposed to there. Even though like a lot of this stuff you can get everywhere. Like you can get Founders easily, right? In California.
Oh yeah, I can get Founders for sure.
Yeah. So like it's like everywhere. Which to me I was always like that's the beer that like Michigan, you know, just it runs the state, but
oh, and you know what I was going to say? There's one that I had just last Friday. I went to go pick up some beer at just some random liquor store. And, they're mainly a craft beer liquor store. So I go there and I posted it. I think it was on Friday. It was a Laces Out Dan, and it was a Finkel and Einhorn.
I saw you share that. Oh my God,
man. I was like, alone. Oh, the branding sold me because I didn't even see it. I was looking at other ones. I had another 4-pack in my hand, and then I was like, all right. I went and grabbed that one.
I would have done that.
And it was phenomenal. It was from Rad Beer Co. in Anaheim, which is like 15 minutes from me. So I might have to send you a care package.
I will let's do a tradesies. I make you a little West Coast or at least like a Chicago kind of care package of beer and send it. That'll be my fun little project. I love doing that for people. It's so fun.
Let's do that. And what are some of your favorite breweries out there?
So my favorite breweries in Chicago are Half Acre. So I love have you heard of Half Acre?
I have not.
They make Tome and Bodum and Daisy Cutter. Daisy Cutter's kind of like their flagship beer. So I'd say Half Acre's probably always on that list. I really love Hop Butcher for the World right now is like this. They finally have one in the city too. It was a suburb beer. There's a lot of honestly, Chicago suburbs kind of crush it for beers. And now a lot of these are coming into the city, which is like great for me. So I love Hop Butcher for the World. That's a really big one for me right now. Let's see. What else do I love? I hate to say it, but like Goose Island, not for their light stuff. I'm going to the Goose Island grand opening, like VIP party, like on Monday. Cause
awesome.
they're opening their like new big fancy brewery that like they closed their original one. So like, I'm so excited cause I love all their dark stuff. I love all their like the Bourbon County series, but like all their stouts and like just weird beers. Like I know they got bought by like a, you know, huge company, but still these like the Chicago pockets of these two breweries are still very much feel like they're like mom and pop run. And so I love the events that they put on because they're just like, it's just all the best people coming together. So I love that. Let's see, what else do I love? I'm trying to think. Oh, Maplewood. Maplewood's one of my favorites right now too. It's right on the river in Chicago, but on like the northwest side. So like not downtown, like way kind of up on the northwest side. And there was a few breweries over there, but Maplewood, I think, is putting out top to bottom some of the best beers in Chicago that like I hope will eventually be celebrated nationally. I think they're like on another level. Like everything they put out is great. And it's the tiniest little tap room. Like it's just like the building's this weird trapezoid shape, and then there's like 4 tables outside, but it's so good. So I always tell people if they come here to go to Maplewood. I feel like they make like the best beer for their size. Cause it's like, you can tell people to go to Revolution and stuff, but like Maplewood, you got to know to go there. So I'd say those are kind of my faves right now.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a trade because I did talk to, I don't know if you follow them or if you've seen any of their stuff on Instagram. They're called Romeo and Juliet, and they mention Hot Butcher. So when you said that, I was like, oh, I think they brought up Hot Butcher before too when I talked to them once.
Yeah, I'm sure Hot Butcher's like won a handful of awards at this point, but I feel like they've just been kind of,
that's awesome.
As I've been going to beer festivals like the last decade, I keep seeing them like grow to like deserving everything they, it's really cool. So shout out to them.
And what was it like? Because I know we've talked a bit when you talked about all the different beer festivals you've covered. What's that like for you when you're out there covering those?
Oh my God. So that's my favorite thing. So like the on-site event vlogging, as far as like when you make your own content, you bring a camera, like, look, I know you can see this, not everybody can, but like this camera setup of just like a big DSLR with a big, like clunky microphone. And like you show up to an event with this and it's like people watch you, but like those beer festivals, everybody is such a nerd in the best way for beer that there's like no outsiders there. It's the most like inclusive, like everyone is just there to like get buzzed, drinking great beers, trying a bunch of stuff. So for me, it's the coolest because like these, PR companies will invite us to come and we just get to like sample the best beers in the Midwest or the country and talk about them. And, when you're making a video, you're really trying to find an angle of like, let's find a bunch of weird beers for this year's video, or let's do all the Malort flavored beers, which is like Chicago's gross liqueur that makes everybody like cringe when they drink it. Like, and breweries here will put it in beers. And so you're always trying to find a hook. So like, to me, it's like fun finding that storyline or like finding a fun personality of a brewer or somebody selling food, like in the little, like, the little food truck area of like, I don't know, like I love that part of it. Like there's only so much you can show of a bunch of like people drinking beers, like that's content only goes so far, but finding the story is always neat. And I don't know, it's cool because Chicago has some really epic venues that they do these in. Like they used to do the Beer Under Glass that kind of kicked off Illinois Craft Beer Week in this big Garfield Park conservatory. It was like this big greenhouse with all these different rooms, where one room was all the cactus and the succulents, and one room was like all these really lush green swooping trees with like man-made rivers in it. And they used to do it there. And then now they do it in the train station and Union Station, where you can like go from California all the way to Chicago and it lets you off right in Union Station. And there's this big glass ceiling and now they do like that there, which is really cool. And then the Festival of Barrel Aged Brewing is my favorite, FOBAB, which is obviously all these huge ABV barrel aged beers from all over the country, but mainly the Midwest. So you're like, you're trying these 16% stouts from these places that are like putting it up against to try to win these awards, which is a huge deal because there's like sponsorships with that and all these things. So,
for sure.
So I don't know. It's like, I got really into like, I really started loving that culture of it, of like watching these people work all year to make this one beer. So, 3,000 people can take a sip of it and decide if it's the best one. I don't know. It's neat. Yeah. It's like the Oscars for normal people.
Oh, for sure. And that's like, speaking of which, because today is I haven't seen if the results have come out yet, but today they're supposed to announce the winners for the World Beer Cup.
Yeah. I haven't looked at it either. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's always like, it's cool though, but because I love like, whether it's like, I love the World Beer Cup but even in California too, they have the California Brewers Cup.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like to me, like, that's so cool. But what I love about even though they win medals, it's still not good enough.
I know.
Like,
it's true.
It can always be better.
It's like anything. Once you hit the top, you want to keep going,
Yeah.
It's why Jeffrey Bezos wants to go to space. It's like, when you're that rich,
For
sure.
Sure.
You just keep going. I get it. I don't know. Like, it's really neat though. We talked about it earlier. Like, it's just, there's nothing bad about it. Like, it's alcohol. Like, it's the only bad thing you say of like, but craft beer finds this great way of like never stepping over the line of they're not a liquor brand,
Mm-hmm.
and like, everybody kind of, no matter where you fall in politics or personal opinions on anything, beer's so beautifully brings people together. And these events are kind of the culmination of that. Like there's never drama. It's always just so everyone's just kind of like, like smiling and kind of like half buzzed and just loving life. And it's just a neat thing to see,
Yeah. And maybe leaned over a trash can.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those FOBAB, they don't, it's too much alcohol. It's funny. Yeah. It's like they give, these beer festivals. I don't know if it's like this in California. They give you 20 tickets, but no one's taking tickets.
Yeah.
I think they have to say that. It's really funny. Yeah. But in Chicago, nobody has to drive anywhere. We all just like take the train or, so it's great. There's no, my risk of DUI is 0% because I never drive in Chicago unless I'm filming like a food video,
Oh yeah. I did a podcast with these guys called Tall Boy Sunday. Really nice guys. It was a really fun show doing it with them, but at the end of every episode, they make you blow in a breathalyzer.
Yeah. That's great.
And I would have to go back, but it was high. That's all I'm going to say. It was like really, really, really high.
I feel like with that shtick of that show or that thing, I would try to get that to be as high as it possibly could. Like, there's some things you got to lean into the bit a little bit.
Yeah. And it's like, let's see where we can take this.
Absolutely. No one wants to blow a .06 and drive home. You want to if you're going to do that, I'm going to call an Uber.
Exactly. So I'm going to crack open my next one.
Yeah.
This one is, I'm really excited about this is a really cool can, but I'm really excited about the episode. Yeah. It's called Honu, their hazy IPA. And I'm not the biggest hazy guy, but I do enjoy them. But they're really great people. And like, it's the craziest thing, their brewery, like you're driving, LA County, but you're driving and in this industrial area. And then all of a sudden you see like this huge log cabin and it's called Campsite Brewing.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. Allie would freak out. She would love it.
Oh, I'm sure she would. So, I mean, you guys got to come out here. I'll take you to all the good places.
100%. I would love that so much because whenever we go to California, we're pretty much in the Bay because Allie's brother lives there, and there's a lot of great breweries there and a lot of great things to do. But I'd love to go a little further south.
Oh yeah, we got to do that then.
I love that. I got to go to Hawaii a few years ago, and they were kind of a slept on state for breweries. I don't think I went there knowing how good the brewery scene was going to be there. There's a lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah, if you ever go out there again, follow Aloha State Beer. Okay. Really good dude. And he'll if you just message him and then ask him, say, hey, I'm going out there, he'll tell you where to go and what to have and everything.
I love that. Yeah, that was a really cool experience. Great beer state, which I did not. We were on Oahu and I was like, I know there'll be a couple, and it ended up being like one after another and great bars in general.
This is a better pour, and you can actually see the Red Lobster on there now.
Yeah, you really can. Now I'm going to be jealous I don't have that glass. That's incredible.
I might have to send this one over to you so you can have
I wouldn't do that to you. I saw Red Lobster was potentially going to go bankrupt. Was this true? Red Lobster files for bankruptcy.
I heard about
restaurants in Ohio. Oh yeah, here's California. Fine. I mean, that's hilarious. That was so Chili's to me growing up was like the fancy night out where my parents would take us. I'd be like, we're going to Chili's. My wife's family, they would go to Red Lobster. Like Red Lobster was their Chili's. So that would be detrimental.
What was your go-to at Chili's?
Oh my God, the skillet queso. My family would get the skillet queso. We would get 2 orders of it. There were 4 of us, my brother and I, my mom and dad, and we get 2. And my mom would extra salt the chips. We were such a salt family. And we would, oh my God, we eat it. And then, I don't know, I would get fajitas or something because I like the production of it. It's I like that it comes out sizzling. Everyone's looking at you. But yeah.
Dude, the skillet queso, it's not the same, but I almost try to recreate it every time. We have a big gathering, a big party.
Yeah.
I'll do a few cans of Hormel chili, queso blanco or whatever, Velveeta. And then perfect.
My mom pretty much has a shot for shot recipe of it, but I ended up finding out it was quite literally just Velveeta cheese and Hormel, and she added one other thing. But growing up, your parent, you think your parents and your grandparents are these amazing cooks, and they can be, but then you kind of realize it was just butter and whatever the thing was. But my buddy Nick that I was talking about, the guy that I said that I started liking craft beer because of that I worked with, who's a dear, dear friend now. He is an amazing cook and uses smokes meats all the time and does crazy Blackstone, recipes. And is just an awesome chef. He's got this skillet queso he makes where he puts it all into this massive, like one of those aluminum tins that people would like cook a turkey in. He puts that everything in there, like a bunch of vegetables and like all the cheese and everything. And then he cooks it over the fire on a barbecue and then like stirs it over. I have a video with him doing it and it was so good. And it's like one of my biggest regrets of like living in a small apartment in Chicago was like not having the ability to like use a charcoal grill outside.
Yeah. No, man. And speaking of food, obviously, because like your channel, like one of the things that got me on your channel, obviously, besides the craft beer aspect of it, or the really good looking food, the craft beer, is the hot sauce.
Yeah.
You guys have your own hot sauce, the Sixer sauce. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I need that in my life. Cause I mean, one of the videos, I think it might've been the Steakums video where you tried it.
Yeah.
On like you put it on one of the steaks, which I grew up eating Steakums too. And like I remember, but I loved his.
We have a bond then because oh my God. Yeah. My dad was like, I thought it was the coolest thing. He would like, I talked about that video. He would like scamper upstairs. We were like downstairs in the basement playing like Sega. And he would go upstairs on like a Friday or Saturday night and like make these. And you know, when you're like 9 years old, you don't know. And I thought they were the most, I was like, ooh, we're having, because I think my dad made it sound like they were expensive. He's like, oh, we're having the, but he's also, my dad was a butcher for 40 years, like cutting really good meat. And he's making, my dad is the perfect example of like, was at the pinnacle of like, he knows how to cut and cook the best meats in the world, but will slum it in the steakum world. No problem. Like he loves the like range.
Isn't that freaking awesome though? Because like, you know, it's like, because there are like certain, you know, people out there that will just be like certain, like if they're, I've been doing this, like, you know, I don't mean to disparage wine connoisseurs and stuff like that, but I just feel like some like that, they can be a little snobby.
I know. I don't understand the like cutting off like you can be a sommelier and be very astute in wine, but don't pretend like you don't love Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what this game people are playing of like, I think my whole life I always was like afraid of fancy things because like we didn't grow up with that. And I just thought there was like a stuck upness to it. And then as I like came to Chicago, and that culinary world is like way more accepting of people than I think I thought it was. It was like, oh, you're going to go to a $200 dinner. It's going to be, you know, you're going to eat two things and still be hungry. And it's not like that. I mean, I think the culinary world is becoming a lot more like they're removing the fourth wall, and you can really see how it goes. And Michelin star rated restaurants in Chicago you can go to for $50. Like it doesn't have to be the most insane thing. So I don't know, as I've started doing more and more food stuff, and you know, one day I'll go to a really nice steakhouse on the channel, and the next thing I'll make steakums. Like you should be able to.
That's what I love.
Well-roundedness was what I love. Like I want to be able to have a seat at the table at these like fancier things and be able to hang. But I also, you know, love McChickens. I just, you know, I want people that are like balanced and, So like, I mean, Allie and I'll get Taco Bell for dinner. Like we're not above that, but then we'll also go to like an omakase restaurant. It's like, you know, I like all of it.
Oh, same, man. I mean, like to me, it's like the only time Taco Bell ever did me dirty was when they got rid of the double decker.
This has become the most like I don't know what Taco Bell's doing because that is the thing I hear the most of anything is how upset people are about this double-decker taco being taken off the menu.
Yeah. That was dude, from when I was like 5 years old, whenever they introduced it may have been 5, may have been 6, but when they introduced it, I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever put in my mouth.
Yeah.
And for a long time it was. I mean, sorry listeners, but
sorry listener.
Yeah. No, but it was, you know, it was just one of my favorite things. And I remember I didn't know that they had gotten rid of it at one point.
Yeah.
And I went through the drive-thru, and because I was just craving one. I was actually craving 3 because I ordered 3 when she asked me what I wanted.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And she was just like, oh, actually, we don't make that anymore. I was like, oh, could you guys just make it and and pay? I'll charge me extra. And they're like, no, we can't do that. Wow. I drove right through.
I don't blame you. I don't fully understand. So for now that I've gotten into this like fast food world way more, sadly, it's a sad sentence to say, but like understanding the business side of it, I don't really understand that one being taken off the menu because a lot of the things Taco Bell did to take things off the menu, it was to make the process of making the food and if they had to get rid of an ingredient, so to make more money. I get that. The double decker taco, correct me if I'm wrong, is just beans between 2 tortillas, right?
Yeah, so it's a tortilla,
then,
beans, and then a
then,
hard shell.
right?
And then yeah, meat and cheese
So,
and lettuce.
so that to me doesn't make sense because they're still doing the cheesy gordita crunch and other things where they have to put something in between two tortillas. Why not just like, because Taco Bell is so customizable, like the app is amazing. You can put anything in anything.
It is. It really
Why couldn't you just be like, hey, just wrap this hard shell in a sauce and then put beans in the middle? Like, to me, it's silly to not do it. Where like they got rid of the quesarito in the restaurant because it's like a bigger ordeal. I get that. You can only order it on the app or whatever it is. The double decker, I don't understand. I think they're intentionally trying to piss people off and they're going to do a big like comeback for it or something.
Yeah. And I don't get it because they brought it back in like December for like, no, I think it was December for like 3 weeks.
Yep. They did that little like bring it back
and
take
then
it away.
I was like, use.
It's annoying.
You sons of bitches.
It's annoying. Yeah. There's no other way to describe it. It's flat out annoying.
Yeah, no, it's bad. But yeah, I was like, I know we went on a little Taco Bell tangent there, but I had a feeling it may get there, but I was.
Can I ask you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot again, feel free to do a classic Sean jump cut but in the editing of this, but what's your Mount Rushmore of fast food restaurants?
Oh man.
Your top tough. 4 that if you could, let's say if you could only eat these 4 for the rest of your life and you got to round out a little foursome, what would they be? Like, what are the ones that immediately jump to your mind? I feel like Taco Bell's got to be on there, right?
Oh, Taco Bell is on there, but number 1, I guess, if we had to choose a president, that would have been number 1. I don't know, but it probably would have been In-N-Out, like, because it's out here.
You're such a California boy. You're so lucky.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I've probably been there. I don't know. I mean, since I was little, I don't know, like so a couple thousand times, probably. I don't know.
Yeah,
but like they've made my order wrong 1 time.
They're very consistent. They got that brand down. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to speaking of the dog, I'm trying to work her. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll take her In-N-Out. So that'll be like calm and, do that. So maybe I'm probably might do that after I feed her, but Taco Bell definitely, and Del Taco. I love Del Taco.
I love Del Taco people that love Del Taco. That's like one of those things that like people are ride or dies. Del Taco. That's another one we don't have a lot of here, like here and there, but like it's a little more scarce. We don't have a ton of them.
Yeah, me and people I almost feel like it's like Star Trek and Star Wars. Like you're either a Taco Bell fan or a Del Taco fan.
Right. I like that you got both.
Oh yeah, no, they're both there for me. It's too. Yeah. Oh yeah, they do have burgers and they have chili cheese fries.
Yeah,
and it's actually not bad. Number 4. Oh man, that's where things Wendy's.
Yeah, Wendy's is kind of a tried and true. I think Wendy's is a great road trip fast food restaurant because like it's pretty consistent and really good. And like a lot of that flavor is kind of nostalgic. How like McDonald's food has always tasted the same. Like Wendy's is kind of the same way. And Wendy's like won't mess your stomach up. I feel like for some reason, at least for me. So like Wendy's is like a lot of the time like a good road trip fast food stop for me.
Yeah. I've never gotten why people feel like the square patties are weird. Like, I get it. It's not the traditional thing, but like people won't go there because of the square
big Wendy's family. And so like that's kind of burned into my, like I love it. I think it's on mine too. I love that.
Yeah. What would yours be?
Mine like change. I always ask people this and like I love this. This is like the types of conversations we have like on my different YouTube channels of like, and this is something I was just with my brother last weekend for his bodybuilding show. And I was like, I know the reason I am how I am. Like number 6 with cheese was inevitable because my family always did these scenario games. Like whether we were on like a big trip to go up north in Michigan, we'd be like, all right, what's your, top 5 fast food restaurants? Or like my dad would go, if you could only have this or this, what would you pick? And then he'd pick another thing. If you could only have this is what we did to pass time. And now I've turned it into a brand. But so long-winded way of saying I always change my answer based on how I'm feeling on the day. So today my Mount Rushmore would be Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Culver's.
Oh, see, I love Culver's, but there's not one anywhere near me.
I know. I think Culver's is as good as In-N-Out, but I've only had In-N-Out like 5 or 6 times in my life. Culver's now is like super prevalent in the Midwest, even because in Wisconsin, it's like bleeding down into all the other states. So you can get it pretty, but my grandma, when I was like in high school, we had one in Westland, Michigan, and she loved taking us there. She didn't realize it was a fast food restaurant. She literally thought it was like, she's like, do you want me to take you to Culver's? And I realized later on, she thought it was like a local restaurant. And
Yeah.
we would eat like a double butter
That's
burger. And then
awesome.
she'd be like, do you want another one? I was like, no, I just had
Do you
a
want some
double
cheese curds?
Yeah. So I'd have curds and fries and a burger and a pop. And I was just like, okay. Yeah. So, but now I feel like the quality is so good. Like they've got a stranglehold on like, you know how like people idolize Chick-fil-A? Like there's some fast food restaurants that people kind of think are like above fast food. I think Culver's kind of, a lot of their stuff doesn't even taste like fast food to me. It's like elevated. So that's today. That would be my 4.
That's awesome.
Thanks for indulging me in my question.
Oh no, dude, I love that. And I mean, and you mentioned pop because oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember where my sister-in-law's from because she's a Youper.
So she definitely says pop, huh?
Yeah, she definitely says pop. Yeah, she says pop and big. I'm gonna what do you?
I'm sure a lot of people in California listening to this are like, "Wow, this dude has a Midwest accent like I've never heard it." I've got like a really intense one, but yeah, pop for sure, big. It comes through pretty. I don't even like think to call it soda. Like that's one of those things where like in Michigan, you just don't call it soda. It's not even a thing you learn.
Yeah, and we used to joke with her all the time, and I would always say like tell us tales of Michigan.
Tell us some of those wild tales of living in Michigan.
Yeah, no, she was hilarious. But no, but like I've always wanted to go there because just to see everything because like to experience that cold because I'm trying to remember what city they're from, but I know it's like way up there.
Is it Marquette?
No, but Marquette is one that I've heard them talk about.
Is it Iron Mountain? I'm just trying to rattle off some.
No, I'm gonna end up messaging you after and be like, it's this city.
Yeah, do it because I'll tell you. I have like a story for every city in the state. So once you tell me, I'll tell you my thought of it.
Oh, for sure. And
Michigan people love Michigan. Like we're diehards for it. Like living in Illinois crushes me. Like I love Chicago. And I just think the city's the greatest, but like, I just love the state of Michigan so much. I feel like a traitor, like not living there. That's how much I idolize Michigan.
I'm messaging my sister-in-law right now while we do it. So it's like, maybe we can get it before we
I would love to know. I did a couple of vlogs in northern Michigan, like last year, or the year before. And do you know what pasties are? Have you heard of a pasty?
Pasties. Yeah, pasties because of my stepdad from Australia.
They have them.
They'd have like. Yeah. Oh, see, he would always call them pasties, but I mean, I guess maybe because of the accent.
Yeah.
You call them pasties?
Yeah, probably pasties. That was actually kind of pasties. That sounds like somebody from Boston. Oh, he had a pasty.
Yeah. And like sausage rolls and
sausage rolls are big. We did a sausage roll episode for Eat Local. I did that with Corey and it was wild. A bunch of people in Australia found that episode and were like, you didn't eat it with ketchup? And I was like, yeah,
that's how they eat it.
I was like, I know, man. It wasn't, this is how it was so Chicago. It wasn't served with ketchup. It's ridiculous. Like they were like blasphemous.
Yeah.
But Upper Peninsula is great. So I learned, the pasty is like basically how would you describe it? It's like a fully enclosed dough roll that you can hold.
Almost like a
pot pie basically, right?
Yeah, kind of. That's what I was kind of thinking.
But it's got like potato. A lot of the times it's like beef or steak in it. And they're very bland. They don't have a ton in them. But they were made to like when people were traveling, like they were in horse and buggy and they'd be going between so they could eat it on the go and they would save for a long time. It's how I remember it. I could be butchering that, and they were, also I think people would make them when they were working in the mines. It was like an easy food to take down into the mines and then it would like save and you could eat it easily. I feel like one of those two stories is right.
Yeah.
Or both.
And imagine taking them down.
Imagine working in the mines. Like that's insane. I make YouTube videos. I'm a loser.
Yeah. And, like, I make podcasts that only, the people can
imagine working in the mines.
Yeah, no. Oh, you know what I might throw on my list? Like, but it's like on the back end. It might not, it's Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah. So Wiener Schnitzel
back end.
Is that like big is Wiener Schnitzel big in like in New York, East Coast?
I don't know. You would think so because it's
the recipe, the chain is. I'm actually looking this up. I was curious. Actually, I was curious where this started because Schnitzel is obviously big in Germany, but like the company Wiener Schnitzel, we don't have them here really. Are those big on the West Coast?
I mean, there are. Yeah, they're actually pretty big out here. But I'm just going to tell you, I love that you're fact checking while we're doing this.
This is the most journalist thing of me. So there's one in Champaign, Illinois. So
Okay. Hey, well, that's where the Illini were.
That's where the
Or
capital
are they
is.
still? They
Oh,
still
yeah,
are.
they're still there.
Okay.
Okay, so there's like one in Illinois. I'm very like curious about this brand. I've never been to a Wiener Schnitzel, not because I wouldn't love eating it. I've just never really like been around one where I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that right now.
Well, out here they make a chili. Well, so they have jalapeno poppers. I'm sure you love jalapeno poppers,
Of course.
but they make chili cheese jalapeno poppers.
Yeah. See, oh yeah, I'm looking at the menu right now. I'm just salivating over here. They also have bacon ranch chili cheese fries. Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to putting ranch on them right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. This menu looks great. I mean, this just looks like comfort food 101. This is just, yeah, I'd get all over this.
Escanaba and Bark River.
Okay. Escanaba. So Escanaba, I've been to plenty of times. It's like right on the water. So it's like kind of it's a beautiful, beautiful, and it's the southern part of the Upper Peninsula. So it's like, I don't know, for some reason that's like a different, and it's right, isn't it? Yeah. It's right off of like the border of Wisconsin, kind of, if you drove through it. Yeah. Wow. I'm looking at it on the map too of like how much inland is in this bay. Escanaba is great. I feel like there would be some high schools from Escanaba that would come down to the Lower Peninsula and like play us in sports. We'd be like, all right, everybody's playing Escanaba this weekend. And we're like, where the hell is that? Like, it's in Michigan. We're like, what? Oh, they got a Culver's though. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Tell your sister to hit the Culver's and say, Sean.
Yeah, that's how you know they're good. No, but she loved Culver's growing up. So.
Oh my God. And the place next door to it is called Dauber's Pasties.
Oh,
of course.
there you go.
Oh my God. That's great.
Oh yeah.
That makes me so happy.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you like growing up in Detroit, but now living in Chicago? Did you have like favorite sports team? I'm assuming like the Lions.
Yeah, I mean,
Tigers.
still to this day, living in Chicago is so tough for me sports wise because I hate the Bears with every fiber of my being. Diehard Lions.
I hate them too.
Good, thank you. They're easy to hate. Yeah, diehard. I mean, all the major Michigan State. I mean, is kind of my main thing. But diehard Lions, diehard Pistons, diehard Red Wings, diehard Tigers. And when I was in high school, it's when and I'm a big basketball was kind of my sport growing up. It's like the thing I loved more than anything. It was when the Pistons were like, they won the world championship and they beat the Lakers in 5 games. And
was that 05, 06? Or 06, 07?
03, 04, 04. Yeah, it was 04.
Oh, is it around there?
Yeah.
One of my favorite teams of all time.
Oh my God. I mean, that starting lineup was like the kind of the entire, all I cared about in high school.
Chauncey,
Rip,
Tayshaun,
Rashid, and Big Ben. Yeah. And then you had like Corliss Williamson coming off the bench. And there was a lot of characters on that team it was great. Jason Maxiel. Anyways, dude. I could go on forever, but yeah, I was diehard.
I love that team.
Detroit. Yeah. And so as kind of the story right now is the fact that the Lions are like what they are is insane. And not even so much, I'm one of those people, I'm 37 years old and I'm like, that's really cool for me. I've never seen the Lions good. My dad is, 67 and he's like, I've never seen, he's like, he had the Barry Sanders years were okay, but like my dad can't even believe it. He's like having a heart attack every time they're winning. So I'm very excited about what is to come for the next few years. And the draft is in Detroit this weekend coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really, really cool right now to be a Detroit sports fan. The Red Wings like just missed out on the playoffs by 1 game. I was watching that game with my best friend Colleen back home. And like, I don't know. It's just, I love the culture of it. Obviously having 4 sports teams like all within the same city blockish is really cool.
Oh yeah. With your video
before.
When you like the drone shot, I didn't know that they were all right next to each other.
Yeah, so the Pistons moved from Auburn Hills, which is way north. So now they're down at the Little Caesars Arena with the Pistons and the Red Wings, because the Red Wings are already down there, but they're the Joe, which is like the greatest arena ever. So now they're sharing an arena. Ford Field's been down there a little bit because Silverdome was kind of already down in Detroit, and then the Tigers. So like now that you have them all right there, it's really awesome. It's really, really cool.
That's so cool. Yeah. And I'm sure your dad would remember like guys like Scott Mitchell.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because I remember Scott Mitchell because I'm a Packer fan. I mean, even like all my teams are kind of everywhere, but because my dad as a kid told me like, you can cheer for whoever you want. You don't have to cheer for my teams.
Yeah,
so
that's adorable.
I would watch I watched Brett Favre as a kid, so I became a Packer fan.
I
watched Chipper Jones for the Braves fan, hockey Avalanche because of Joe Sakic, Patrick Waugh, and all those guys.
Yeah. Man, I grew up hating the Avs, obviously.
Oh, Yeah. Oh, because dude, like that, one of the greatest sports documentaries of all time is about the Red Wings and the Avalanche, and
It's incredible.
that the hatred, the animosity, and all that stuff. But it's so fun to watch, and like, but those games, like, the rivalry isn't what it was.
No, not at all.
But it used to be crazy.
It was insane. It was in Detroit when my mom would drive me to school, like in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, and it was right at the height of that rivalry. I've never seen anything like this now. Detroit, like, truly was hockey town in the sense that there were these little pop-up on the side of the road tents where people were selling every jersey of every player. Like, they were on every street corner, like in, not even just in Detroit, but like in the suburbs. And it was like, the Red Wings were everything during specifically those 5-6 years. And I thought about that like later in life, and I was like, that is not a thing. You don't just like walk outside and there's like people selling replica, not even, I mean, I think they were like authentic jersey. You could like Chris Osgood jersey on the way to like the drugstore. Like, it was, I don't know, it was weird. I don't even know how they were doing it, to be honest, now that I think about it. How did they get these jerseys?
Yeah.
This was like in 1996.
Yeah. But isn't it kind of crazy? Because I think it was like during that time when like the Avs would win a cup, and then all of a sudden not all of a sudden, but like the Wings would win one, and then the Avs would win one a couple years later, and then it almost like followed suit. I think when the Avs won in 96, what the Wings won in 97, 98, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then in 2001, when the Avs won it, the Wings won it in 2002.
They were both so good, like, for so long that it was like they would constantly be. Yeah, it was a really cool time. And like, you know, you're a kid and you're just like, I hate Patrick Waugh with all my being, and I hate, and then you would play like NHL 98, you know, and like, you'd be like, man, but playing as Joe Sakic was like, and Peter Forsberg, these guys could really shoot, you know. I don't know. It was a really cool childhood. Honestly, it was just like growing up in hockey town craze was really, really cool. And then when I was in college, the Tigers were really good. So they had Verlander and Scherzer and Cabrera and Pudge, and they were, you know, they went to the World Series, and they had Magley.
How they didn't win that year was,
I know that it still breaks my heart, but yeah, it was a really good childhood of being a Detroit sports fan. There was like so many fun, like, few year pockets where it would be a different team would be like popping off, you know, and the Lions were just always bad. But then when we got Matthew Stafford, like, that was like, this is going to turn it all around. And then to beat him last year in the playoffs was like the coolest thing. I don't know. Sports are the coolest thing in the world to me. Like, it's this weird, it's like beer. It's like a bond that is just very, I don't know. We all become kids again, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like, well, not suspension of disbelief, because that's wrestling, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of just like you can not think about real, like I mentioned with your videos, like I can kind of not think about, like, even if I'm having like a crazy busy day, I can toss on Number 6 with Cheese, or I can toss on Eat Local, I can toss on one of your channels, one of your 3 channels, and just be like, man, that looks good.
It's nice to just shut off and just be like, oh, that's just good looking food. Now I want tacos tonight. Like, whatever. Yeah, I know.
Well, it's like, I'm not even a bologna guy, but I want that bologna sandwich.
I know. I never crave bologna, but all of a sudden I'm like, man, this is supposed to be really good. Like, I'll eat anything. And then, I know. It's cool. I do the same thing with other like YouTube channels that I don't know. It's like a weird zone out thing where I just like feel good and just kind of like relaxed. And it's just, there's no agenda to it. And it's just like a dude making, you know, a recipe in his kitchen or something, which is cool to me.
For sure. And like, even I know I mentioned earlier the Carolina Reaper cheese.
Yeah.
I went to my Walmart, like literally like the next day, and I was like, I wonder if they have it. And they did.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So I was over there making quesadillas the next day because of that, because I saw, I was like, I didn't know they had this, because I crave anything spicy. And like, because I want to talk more about your Sixer sauce too. Yeah. Anything spicy, like, is like, for me, like, just put it in my mouth. Let's do this thing.
I know. It's an addiction. Like, once you like that, it's like, it's hard can't go back. You need the punch every meal.
100%. Could you tell us about the different like flavors you guys have with the Sixer sauce?
Yeah. So it was branded as, we wanted it to be the most all-purpose sauce for like any burger, any chicken sandwich, dipping in fries. Like, it was, because we have a fast food channel when it was created, we wanted to be able to use it on everything. And so like, you'll have like sauces from McDonald's that are good on certain things, and fire sauce from Taco Bell is good on certain things. And so we wanted something that you could use for everything. And so it takes like flavors of mustard and ketchup and some honey and some black pepper. And it does like a lot of the condiment thing, but the consistency of it is like, I think the consistency of Sixer sauce is the best because it's not watery, but it's not too thick. It's like that perfect kind of like velvety, kind of like sticky, but not too sticky sauce that
Okay.
you can coat wings on it, or you can like, you could marinate chicken in it, or you could literally just like put it in a dipping cup and dip fries and onion rings and stuff in it. Or if you just want to like, dress your chicken sandwich and take the bun off and do it that way, it's not all going to come like dripping out. Like that was a big part of making the sauce, was the consistency of it, like the behavior of sauces. Like once you really get to be a nerd of that, like you want the like experience to be just as good as the flavor. So we're really proud of it. I mean, it's just like people keep buying it. We just bought, God, what did we buy? Like 2,000 more bottles of it from our distributor too. So it's all fresh batches now and stuff. So yeah, this has been going for like, oh my God, like almost 5 years now. We've been doing that sauce.
That's so awesome, man.
And then we have a new one. So there's a hotter version of that too. So we have Sixer sauce. There's hotter Sixer sauce. So it's for the people that just needed more of a punch. So we just put way more ghost pepper powder in it. And if you use too much of it, I'm a hot sauce person, but like enough of it and it'll hit you. And then our next sauce we're coming out with is kind of like a buffalo inspired sauce, but we don't like traditional buffalo sauces. So we're making something that we just think is going to work way better than that, and is going to be just like not those vinegar bomb where like you walk into any wing joint and all the buffalo sauces are the exact same. So we wanted to make something that was going to just kind of be a much more pleasurable experience than just that. So that's our next one. So we're working on the final part of that, and that should be coming out in the next like month or two. And we're working with a new chef for this one just to like change it up. And we're actually working with a California chef for that one. So all this will come out soon of like all the details of it, but I'm so pumped for it. And coming out with like a new product is really cool. It's just like, it's neat my wife helps me design the label. She's an amazing designer. So she like helps with that. And then I get to learn so much of how like storage and production and like the 2-year shelf life and like the gravity. It's fun to learn about all the science of it all. So it's just really neat. It's a really cool project to work on.
Man, that's freaking awesome. Like cause I try to make like, well, whether it's like chile for like tacos or like salsa for tacos or like a hot sauce or anything like that. But I'm such a me and my brother, there's a place in San Diego when we go down to Old Town, and it's just called it used to be called Hot Licks, but now it's had like 12 different names in the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
But it's all hot sauce. And
man, yeah.
I'm like, I go and they let you sample stuff. So
I would
like,
love that.
Hot sauce for me. Yeah. That's the dream.
I feel like in California too, like Chicago, it's like anything where there's people here that make good stuff and it's great, but hot sauce is still not really like a huge part of the culture here. Like people love sauces. It's kind of become more mainstream, but when you go down into like more of like the Southwest part of the country and like, I don't know, it's just more built into it, like cause I went to El Salvador last year for a gig and I got to like spend a bunch of time in like San Salvador, and it was cool to see like how flavor is just so different in different parts of the world and how they like use spices and chilies and stuff. I think it's really neat. I think it's cool to like use what you have, like on hand, like what grows well where you live. And then that becomes a big part of like the culinary world there, like how in Hungary they use paprikas on everything and chicken paprikash is like the thing there. I don't know. I think that's where the journalism side of me starts, like, as I've gotten older, is like nerded out of like, I love why things are being intentional, like why they're doing a certain thing in a place. And a lot of the times it's because like that's the resource there. But like you being so close to Mexico, there's such a fantastic like bleed of like fantastic culinary world where you're at, that we can't. Yeah. I mean, Chicago has an awesome Puerto Rican community. It's like a huge Puerto Rican community in Chicago. So we have awesome food here, but a lot of people don't know that, they know like, oh yeah, in California you can get good tacos because it's close to Mexico. But like Chicago oddly has a great Puerto Rican culinary scene here that I've been trying to push people to.
Yeah, the Al Pastor burrito when you guys did the other day. No,
God,
no.
yeah.
I mean, I was
We've
saying
done
the
a
other
few
day.
of
It
them
was probably a
recently.
few.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been like the last month we've been trying to find like the
Yeah.
best Al Pastor burrito. Yeah.
No, but you've had some really like good looking ones. I'm like, man, that looks phenomenal.
It means a lot coming from a California dude because you guys have some fantastic tacos and burritos down there that I'm sure is like on every corner, every taco truck. But
And I love the shirt you were wearing. One of them, it was a vegetable suck.
yeah, we have that shirt coming out soon. It was Corey's idea.
Okay.
It was like, I like vegetables, but I think it's pretty funny.
No, because I'm the same. Because like when I order a hamburger, I just go meat and cheese.
No, I like it simple for a hamburger. There's no doubt. Like I don't need anything else on it for that. But that'll be fun. I mean, it's just like those like little punchy sayings.
Oh,
that's just
great.
Like, it's just silly.
For me, yeah, it's perfect because I remember. I think it was because you mentioned like diners, drive-ins, and dives, but there was one episode of like it might have been Man versus Food or something like that, but one of the guys when I think he was in Tennessee when they were doing the fried hamburger, but they did it in oil, and he said it's like, oh, he's like, if you want lettuce and stuff like that on your hamburger, he's like, go to Sizzler.
Yeah,
he's like, there's a salad bar up the street.
Yeah,
and to me that was like that was like one of those things that hit me right in the soul.
Yeah, 100%. I also don't want vegetables on that if you're gonna deep fry something. Like let's leave those out for that. We can worry about the nutrition later.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I love hamburgers, man. Like, so anything like you guys do when it comes to hamburgers or smash burgers.
Yeah.
Like to me, like I always ask people, like if I'm going to go somewhere, like where's the best brewery? Where's the best smash burger?
Yeah.
Or the best hamburger?
They go hand in hand pretty well. Chicago's a pretty slept on like burger city too. Like Corey and I talk about that all the time, that like people talk about Italian beefs and hot dogs and pizza here, but like the burger scene is pretty great. And it kind of feels like a lot of these bars are trying to like outdo each other. And, and to do different things. Like I just edited a video that comes out on Eat Local next week that is one of the best burgers we've had. We like smash burgers, but this was a thicker burger, and it was from a Mexican restaurant called La Mexicana in Pilsen, which is like the big, like, Pilsen is like all the best Mexican restaurants in Chicago. And it was like ground beef, but then it was also chorizo, guacamole, a fried egg, grilled onions. And then it came with like yuca frita on the side. Jeez. But it was great. It was like this big, thick, monstrous burger, but the quality of the meat, I mean, your teeth went right through it. Like there was no, I hate those big, thick burgers where it's like just in the buns, half stale. Steak. Yeah. It's like, I don't want that. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
But I love that. Like there's this crazy, you can go to a Mexican restaurant and get an amazing burger in Chicago. I think that's kind of speaks volumes of this city.
Oh yeah. That's so cool. And I just wanted to say real quick, well, because I still have a couple more questions for you.
Sure, yeah.
Well, we're at about an hour and 23, and it just felt like it's flown by.
Oh, absolutely did.
This has been really fun for me.
Me too.
I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you.
I love this. This is great. I feel like you and I could, and probably off microphone at some point, we'll be able to talk for more hours so people don't have to deal with us.
Yeah, for sure. Because obviously you travel a bit. Like I remember one video I saw was you went to DC, and you were, sorry if that was my dog snoring again. You went to DC, and you and your buddies, like you guys were going to breweries and having food and stuff like that. I want to say someone said crab cakes and football, kind of quoting wedding crashers.
Yeah, we were in Baltimore. Yeah.
And what were the like? What are some of like in your travels? Because obviously going to different places. What are some of the favorite breweries you've been to?
So I know I wanted to tell you about this. So RIP to Anchor Brewing, Anchor Steam. Sorry, Anchor Steam. Yeah. Well, Anchor Brewing. So that was one of those breweries that like I know it had a lot of history and had burned down a bunch in San Francisco. And when Allie and I went there for their brewery tour, we had always heard it was like a cool thing to do because you had to pay. Like a lot of them are free, but they don't even give you a beer, or they give you like a whatever. This was the coolest. I'm going to miss Anchor because they're an institution in beer, and they like copywritten their bottle was like, that little fatty little bottle. We were blown away by that brewery tour. It felt like it was like a VIP treatment. Like you went places you weren't supposed to. It was unlimited. All you could drink for like an hour and a half, and you could get like top shelf stouts that were barrel aged, or you could get just, Anchor Steam, whatever. And they were so like excited to talk to you. And I don't know. It was just kind of because they were during Prohibition. Their like big thing was, you know, all of a sudden they had a beer ready to go the day Prohibition was over, and they were like wink because, you know, they were brewing here, and then we burned the brewery down again. I don't know. Like, so anyways, to answer your question, that one really stood out to me because a lot of brewery tours and a lot of breweries like kind of blend together, you know, like they're cool, but you go to 100 of them, you remember 5 of them, you know? So Anchor was one that like the space was really cool. So I'm really going to miss that being gone. And then let's see, where else did we go that we really, really loved? We just had the most amazing trip. I talked about it in videos recently, but we went to Sedona and Arizona in general. And I think Arizona's kind of slept on with breweries.
Oh, 100%.
We did a lot of the hiking and stuff, and that was incredible. And that's kind of like a standout of the trip. But we had a lot of good beer on that trip in general. And so I kind of just like shout out just Sedona in general is like a really cool city. I mean, everyone knows it's a cool city, but the beer there was good. Let's see, where else did we go that I really loved? I mean, we've been to Denver a handful of times, and it's like, that's just like shooting fish in a barrel, you know? Oh, there's my dog.
Yeah, that's all right.
But Denver's
sense.
great. I remember the first time I went to Breckenridge Brewery when I was like in my 20s. I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world because it was like, and it was like Denver Beer Company and had like they did all those beers that were Girl Scout cookies. They did like the Thin Mint Stout and the peanut butter porter. And I remember thinking like, oh wow, these sugary beers can be really good. It's like that really stood out to me. Denver was like going there for the first time was kind of a big thing for me because it just kind of felt like you were on like top of the world with craft beer because they kind of just do so well there. And that's where the Great American Beer Festival is. So rightfully so, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. GABF. That's one
I still
place,
haven't gone.
Because I want to go so bad. And it'll maybe, the plan is to go next year. So I'm like, hopefully I can make that happen. I want to go to World Beer Cup this year, but it just honestly like work's been crazy. So hopefully it settles down. Actually.
Yeah, I hope it does for you because I would love to like have some beers out there together. Because one of my best friends, the dude that officiated my wedding, he lives in Denver with his wife and kids, and he's a big craft beer guy, and he goes to GABF every year. And
awesome.
I just need to do it. I need to just like commit to doing it and do it. Because because the beer is great, but also the experience, and it's a tax write-off when you're a vlogger and you want to go make videos doing it. There's another reason to do it is the fact that you can like it's all part of the gig. So I'd love to like do that and then review the food there and show the whole experience. And I want to do Oktoberfest too in Germany. I really want to be awesome. Corey and I have talked about, you know, we went to Italy last year together and did like 20 videos, and that was the coolest thing in the world. I think like I would love to do Oktoberfest and vlog that whole experience. He's been before, and I've been in Germany during Oktoberfest, but I wasn't in Munich. So I'd love to do the real thing. So that'd be like kind of a dream kind of vlogging trip too, which that footage pretty much like shoots itself, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be pretty damn
But
awesome.
I think America makes better beer than Germany. I know it's a hot take, but I just think German beer is a vibe.
I'm 1,000% with you on that.
I like the history of it, but yeah, I can only have so many of those like hacker push. What's that one called? Like that really popular Oktoberfest.
Hacker. Who knows? There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's just I can only drink like one of them, and I'm like, I'm good.
Oh yeah. You know what I wanted to ask you about you and Corey? I was gonna say about Corey and you, Sean. Do you get a lot of? Did you ever get like people like Boy Meets World comments? Because I was a big Boy Meets World fan.
We don't. I know I was too. I mean, Corey and Topanga was like that's what I thought a good relationship was. No, it was funny. Like when we first started, like we would bring that. Well, I mean, I would bring it up in editing. I would edit Sean and Corey clips, you know, and then people would write like, "Oh, right." Like the same name. So like to answer your question, no, we like don't really ever get that. Like here and there.
Oh,
but
yeah, I thought for sure.
I know.
But I mean, I guess depending on the age and stuff like that.
Right. But I used to edit those clips in all the time, and I was like, oh, that's funny. It's the same. But no, not as much as you think.
Yeah. Cause I do love how you cut in, like even like I wasn't say Reno 9, Brooklyn 99.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of Brooklyn 99. Yeah.
Oh, it's great. But I thought one would be good. I mean, because it was later on, but it was like when they called it Girl Meets World, and it was like Corey and Sean in the big city.
I really should.
Like,
Maybe
That's a
when we
classic-
travel
classic
somewhere
line.
or we do another downtown episode, I'll have to cut that in. That's actually good. Cause I
There you
grew
go.
up loving like when I would watch the Daily Show and stuff and like when he would cut to clips. Like I loved the way they did that. And when I first started editing on YouTube in like 2010, 2011, no one was really like doing that yet. I was like ripping clips off of YouTube really early. I always like liked that editing style. I liked the really quick, punchy stuff. And it's so funny how it's so baked into editing now, like all TikTok food stuff and like people will cut to clips and I'm like, I mean, this has been a thing for so long, but now it's kind of getting its like time in the sun, I guess. But I love that. Jon Stewart used to do it so funny. He would like riff with the news and cut to and from, and I just would laugh so hard.
Oh yeah. No, but yours are great. And like I said, I'm not just trying to do it because I reached out just because I was a fan and like, I thought it'd be cool to, to be able to do something like this.
Oh yeah.
But you're like what you put out consistently on a daily basis, it feels like, is pretty damn awesome.
It's a lot of videos. I appreciate you saying that. It's a lot of work. It's not like those videos that are crazy viral, like a Mr. Beast video that's going to get 40 million views. It's like, we have this really cool audience that likes it and watches it. And when people connect with it in any way, it means the world. And I'll have those days where I'm really down on it and I'm just like, it's a lot of work because the editing is a lot of work. And I'm like, why am I doing this so much? And then, one person will say something just so nice, like will email me or DM me and like you DMing me and saying that you wanted to do this and you're a fan of it. Like all of a sudden it like reinvigorates everything you're doing. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just because like not every person that's watching is commenting all the time. Like, there's always a small amount of people that are actually going to reach out and say something. Like you have to remember those people like love it and watch every single one. And when I was like, I did a month hiatus between my wedding and filming and people were like, when are you going to post again? And I'm like, it's just cool that they can't like really, I like that matters to you.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Where's that passion while you're, while you're doing it all the time? But like you said, it's few and far between.
When you do a lot of it every day, it's like any full-time job too. You're like, you always have those just thoughts in your head of like, what am I doing? Like we all just sit there and we're like existential for no reason. And then you like snap back into it and you're like, oh, right. Cause I love doing this,
Yeah. I was going to say snap into it. Like
snap into
the Macho Man. But, yeah. Classic.
A lot of people in my hometown of Redford, Michigan grew up eating a lot of Slim Jims. Part of the daily diet.
Oh yeah. I don't want to keep you too much longer because do you have a hard out? I don't want to go too far over.
No, I'm just Allie ordered food, so whenever that gets here for dinner, that's my only out. So
okay, well, no worries. So before we finish up, because your brother used to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Now he does bodybuilding. That's pretty damn cool, I feel like. And
yeah.
So we were talking about like, when we were going back and forth about doing this, we talked about you're like, just to throw this in there, I'm not sure if you know this, but big pro wrestling fan, by the way. So I was like, all right, well, let's do that. Cause so am I. Who like, if you had a Mount Rushmore for wrestling?
So my Mount Rushmore for wrestling. So, obviously grew up during the Attitude Era and everything. So like when Attitude Era was happening, I was like, 10, 11, 12 years old. So it was like right at the pinnacle of like my brother and I idolizing it. So I was probably like, as much as I hate that it's the very name guys, definitely Stone Cold and The Rock. And then I loved X-Pac. X-Pac was my big, let me show you this. I know people are listening. But let me show you this. I have fans that will just send me Xbox figurines.
That's awesome.
I've got 3. I have one in the case, and then I'm not even a collectibles guy. Like that's not my thing, but I have 3 X-Pac figures, and that's like the only action figures I have. But anyways, so X-Pac, he was kind of, the underdog, and like, I was always small growing up. Like I was always shorter than everybody. So like, I kind of connected with that. So that's always my wild card to throw on my Mount Rushmore. And then my fourth one, I always kind of swap out based on like what nostalgic wrestling I kind of like at the time. But yeah, I've been really on the Triple H thing lately because of the way he's like totally turned the WWE around. I like, what an incredible, like, I can't imagine the Attitude Era without him being bad for so long, Yeah. And just being like the guy that was always in the way for The Rock. And he had the title for so many years. So like right now, me leaving the fourth one open, I would say Triple H is like, I don't know. I'm just so impressed with what he's doing right now. He's like made the WWE, because there was a while there where I was like, is AEW really going to take them down? I was like, this, there was like a little bit of a time, and now AEW is kind of a joke again, which is sad But like,
yeah, it's kind of,
it's a
especially
bummer.
the last few weeks. Yeah.
The CM Punk thing didn't help, all whatever. But anyways,
Not at all.
it's WrestleMania was incredible, and I'm a fan in the sense that like I cannot keep up with all these storylines. But you
That's
gotta,
crazy.
you know for a fact that I knew everything going on with that Bloodline storyline.
Oh yeah, it was great.
And I followed that like it was, that's really the only thing I followed. And the culmination of getting to the Cody story was so cool. And I watched that with my buddy Bobby, who's like one of my best friends in the world and loves wrestling. And yeah, I don't know. It was once again, like the sports thing, like the beer thing. You're just kids again. You're just two kids watching. You remember we used to like get those pay-per-views, for $50 a month and your parents would have to call in. To be able to stream that on Peacock now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the Cody storyline was pretty monumentally cool.
Man, that was peak, at least for me, like going back to like, the old, like the older days. Cause I mean, it's crazy we're the same age. Cause you said you're 37. I'm 37 too. So.
Yeah. What's your birthday?
February 21st.
Holy shit. I'm February 24th.
Oh, shoot. Well, damn.
Are you 87, obviously?
Yeah.
We were born 3 days apart. That's pretty amazing.
That's
pretty amazing. All right. Anyways, That's a pretty cool nerd out moment. But anyways, I'll let you do your thing.
Because I was born on because they were having a surprise birthday party for my grandma, and she was born on February 20th.
Oh my God.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So they were having a party for her, and I crashed the party.
Oh you sure did. You sure did.
Yeah.
I'm literally I'm going to put you in my phone as February 21st because February birthdays to me are like, the coolest. We got the shortest month. I'm bookmarking this and I'm texting you happy birthday on your birthday every year.
I'll put a note on my thing too.
Do it.
Oh, for sure. So I'm going to go Mount Rushmore and I'm going to go favorites.
Okay. Yeah. Like, what's your Mount Rushmore?
Sean is my number one.
I get that.
Austin.
Yeah. How do you know?
Brock. And probably Nature Boy.
I like Ric Flair to me. Like I must have been, I don't know what it was. Like I never really, not that I didn't connect with him. I feel like I had never really saw him. Like it was because I wasn't like a WCW guy. And then when he kind of came over,
I wasn't either.
Okay, I don't know what it is. Like people always put him in their Mount Rushmore and I'm like, I must have missed something. I just never really like was around him in my like fandom I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah. I think for me, the reason why is because of like, I was during like when you would like, when all my friends were downloading porn on LimeWire, I was downloading old wrestling matches.
I mean, honestly, me too. It was wrestling matches and like, it was like silly, like nerdy stuff like that. And I was like, 100%.
And that's what I would do. So I would watch like old matches because it wasn't easily accessible. Or if I was going to like a Sam Goody or like a Warehouse Music or something like that, and you'd find like VHS tapes of WCW or WWE or WWF back then.
Right.
So I'd watch that. So I'd watch Rick. But honestly, even then, like I might even as much as I love The Rock, I might even take The Rock out and put like Taker in there.
Right.
But when it comes to favorites of all time, probably Shawn, Hunter, Edge was always one of my favorites. I'm trying to think of who else like I really, really liked during that time. But like those were probably the three that I followed most like prevalently. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah. My brother and I, because we were so close and huge wrestling fans, we were big Hardy Boys fans. So like we would do Jeff and Matt, like we would do their whole move set and like, other image, like we would come out as them, like doing the entrance and flip off the couch and stuff all the time. So like that was probably like, if I had to pick favorite, they were the one that like I have such a good like feeling of because it was like my brother and I like was like, what if we were a tag team, And then when my brother went to wrestling school and like became a wrestler, one of his big things was like, man, I wish we would have done this earlier in life where even if we didn't do this for a living, like I wish we were both trained so we could like both do a match together, because he put in a lot of work to do that. That's a lot on the body and like it's expensive. I mean, it's a whole thing, but it was something I wish that like earlier in life we would have like done. Like if we could have, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like Michigan has a really good like training school. I had no idea until I was like 30,
Is Rob Van Dam from Michigan, Battle Creek?
Is he from Battle Creek?
I think Rob Van Dam is.
Okay, so Battle Creek's like a little further. That's a little bit further west. We have the House of Truth. Oh, he is from Battle Creek. My brother trained at House of Truth, which is in Centerline, which is like just north of Detroit, and so he got his like training there and everything. But yeah, he's so well trained. I mean, he's like, when I watch my brother wrestle, I'm like, he's just, the mechanics are just there. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we might have to do another show with me and your brother just about wrestling.
Oh my God.
Have a beer too.
He would absolutely love it. Yeah, the few days of the year he's drinking beer when he's not training.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, that's
and
true.
Loves,
yeah,
he'd like,
being a bodybuilder.
You know what he did? I did bring him a 12-pack of New Glarus Spotted Cow, just the original, for when he finished his show, because he loves it. It's that and awesome. Revolution. He looks like Fistmas, like the Christmas beer, which is so random to me. But anyways, because he drinks Coors Light pretty much outside of that, but he would love it. I mean, he could talk wrestling forever. He's so knowledgeable of it.
That'd be so fun, because I went to wrestling school, but I only went for like 3 weeks. Because then
3 weeks more than me.
I got told that was embarrassing.
Oh my God.
So
they're really blunt there, apparently. Wrestling school, just tell it like it is.
That was Santino's.
Oh, really?
Santino Brothers Wrestling, yeah.
Wow. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, but because honestly, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to be a wrestler. I just want to know what it felt like. I just wanted to know what I get that. Really felt like to do a flat back bump and do all that stuff.
Yeah, because my brother taught me a few of the things, and I was like, I get it. Like that rush of like being able to do a back bump is just, even on its own, pretty cool. I mean, you watch and respect it so much more once you realize what they're doing, and the care that goes into it. Yeah, it's cool. It's a whole other subculture that people don't realize is like so intricate,
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, I know we're closing on an hour 45, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got food coming, but honestly, man, thank you. This has been super fun for me.
I mean, the fact that you reached out and wanted to do this was so cool, and I appreciate you so much for DMing. I love that our birthdays are 3 days apart. Excited to keep the friendship going and do this again in a year or something. But I would love if, we're ever together in a place for a beer festival or something and doing a vlog together would be awesome. But I mean, just stay in touch and thank you. And this is a blast. I mean, what a fun couple of hours just of chatting, and it feels like you and I have known each other forever. So it was a good feeling.
Yeah. Because what do they say in Wedding Crashers? Like crab cakes and football.
That's what Maryland does. Yeah.
But we'll say
that's what we
wrestling, do. Taco Bell.
Yeah. Wrestling, Taco Bell, and craft beer. That's what we do.
Yeah. No doubt. Well, we'll stay on and we'll chat for a minute, but thank you again. I really appreciate it. So Sean Ely, let's follow at Sean Ely on Instagram, number 6 with cheese, and Eat Local on YouTube. And it's the same on both platforms, right?
Yeah, sure is. I appreciate that.
Okay. And, definitely try the Sixer sauce, because I'm going to order some, and I'm definitely need that vegetable suck t-shirt when that comes out.
For sure.
It would have been sweet if it said vegetables can suck it.
Yeah. Honestly, that's what I would have pushed for.
That would have been pretty awesome. No, but I love everything you're doing, man. And I am super appreciative of you doing this with me. And thank you to the missus for letting me go longer than I normally.
Man.
Because normally it's about an hour, but I nerded out.
No, I'm glad you wanted to do it. I think we talked about a lot of fun stuff, and people that kind of rock with us will get it and not. But yeah, Mike, this is a blast. Thank you so much.
Oh, for sure. So, we'll stay on and chat for a bit, but thank you again, Sean.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Like I said, it was super fun. Sean's just a really, really funny guy and a really great dude. So yeah, make sure, like I said, don't forget to follow his channels on YouTube if you're on there, and then also on Instagram as well. Honestly, and make sure if you guys get a chance to order the Sixer sauce, that stuff is killer. I really, really like that stuff. It is like they have the regular like Sixer sauce and then the hotter Sixer sauce. I love both, but I really like the hotter Sixer sauce. I was lathering when I was making my bacon wrap hot dogs. I was lathering into that stuff. So just really, really good stuff. All right. So yeah, like I said, next week will be the Bearded Tang episode with Jared Larson. And then it'll be Drea, Comics and Brew, and then also the audiograph. And then I'll be recording at Pro 5 later this month. Also might be working on some stuff with Tustin Brewing, and then maybe Smog City down the road. Maybe. And Arrow Lodge sometime soon. We'll get all that sorted out though. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a good week or a good Mother's Day. So like I said, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. yeah, I hope everyone has a good week. Have a couple beers on this Sunday fun day. Hopefully if you're in SoCal, it clears up a little because it's a little gloomy right now, but it's only about 7:53. So, all right, we'll take care, Tech Fam.